The Real Agenda of the Gates Foundation. Section. Dependency, not democracy. Speaking off the record, public health officials are scathing about the imperiousness of the Gates Foundation. It is said to be domineering and controlling, contemptuous of advice from experts, seeking to divide and conquer the institutions of global health via stealth-like monopolization of communications and advocacy. But the high-handedness of the Foundation goes far beyond office politics in Geneva. In general, it, quote, has not been interested in health systems strengthening, and has rather competed with existing health services. It routinely subverts the health ministries of sovereign nations, either coercing their cooperation or outmaneuvering them via NGO-sponsored field operations that bypass existing infrastructure and personnel. In particular, the Foundation's emphasis on a single issue, vertically organized interventions, tends to undermine community-based primary care, endorsed by the Alma Ata Declaration of 1978 as the model for Third World public health programs. Based implicitly on the Barefoot Doctor program that revolutionized public health in the People's Republic of China, the philosophy of primary care proposed that people, quote, have a right and duty to participate individually and collectively in the planning and implementation of their health care. End quote. In theory, the goal was not only improvement of health as such, but also popular empowerment and genuine democracy at the local level. People would be encouraged to believe that healthcare was not a gift from Western benefactors, but belonged to them as a right. Although the Chinese model could never be properly implemented in non-socialist countries, Alma Ata inspired various community-based health initiatives in developing countries, achieving some success in lowering infant mortality and raising life expectancy. Today, however, primary care programs worldwide are on the decline, due both to the imperatives of structural adjustment programs and to the meddling of US-based foundations. The Gates Foundation, for its part, invariably acts to steer resources away from community-based holistic doctoring and towards single disease crash programs, controlled by Western NGOs in collaboration with health-related MNCs. Its approach to diarrhea, which kills upwards of 1 million infants annually, is a case in point. The procedures necessary to control diarrhea are not mysterious. Clean water and adequate sanitation are essential to prevention, while treatment consists of administering oral rehydration salts, ORS, and zinc supplements to afflicted infants. Chinese barefoot doctors achieved steep declines in diarrhea mortality from the 1950s through the 1980s by distributing ORS supplies at the village level and educating families on their importance and proper use. Yet, while shepherding governments away from investing in the sanitation infrastructure and primary care that have been proven to save lives, BMGF funds and promotes vaccine research, marketing programs administered by NGOs, and, quote, working with manufacturers and distributors to make ORS and zinc products more attractive to consumers by improving flavors and repackaging products, end quote. Perhaps Bill Gates, who became rich through the expert marketing of inferior software, really believes that poor mothers can't be relied upon to take an interest in saving their children's lives unless medicines are advertised like Coca-Cola. But BMGF's overall stance towards diarrhea, as toward public health in general, reminds us that the attenuation of third world democracy is far from unwelcome to the rulers. As the educational theorist Robert Arnove has observed, foundations are at bottom, quote, a corrosive influence on a democratic society. They represent relatively unregulated and unaccountable concentrations of power and wealth, which buy talent, promote causes, and, in effect, establish an agenda of what merits society's attention. They serve as cooling out agencies, delaying and preventing more radical structural change. They help maintain an economic and political order, international in scope, which benefits the ruling class interests of philanthropists. End quote. Charitable activities that undermine democracy and state sovereignty are immensely useful to the ruling class. Robust, effective social programs in developing countries are an impediment to the current imperial agenda of worldwide expropriation. Healthy people, in control of their own destinies, and invested in the social well-being of their communities, are better equipped to defend their claim to the wealth they possess and produce. Far better, from the point of view of the good club philanthro-capitalists, if the world's poorest billions remain wholly dependent on a largesse that may be granted or withdrawn at pleasure. End of section.